How did Bayern demolish Borussia Mönchengladbach without Harry Kane? Why is PSG going through such a rough patch in League One? What happened in the dying seconds of the Celta Vigo versus Real Madrid clash? How did Liverpool get their revenge against Wolverhampton in the FA Cup? And is Cristiano Ronaldo's injury more serious than first thought? That's exactly what we're going to find out today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the upcoming football news. Right, let's kick things off with the Bundesliga and a Bayern Munich side in absolutely devastating form. The Bavarians hammered Borussia Mönchengladbach 4-1 at the Allianz Arena, and honestly, it was a proper masterclass. No Harry Kane, no problem. 4 different scorers found the back of the net. Luis Díaz opened the scoring on 33 minutes with a cracking volley before Konrad Laimer doubled the lead in first-half stoppage time at the end of a lightning-quick counter-attack. Second half, things went from bad to worse for Gladbach. Rocco Reitz got himself sent off on 55 minutes after a clumsy foul on Nicolas Jackson inside the box. Jamal Musiala stepped up to slot home the penalty and make it 3-0. Massive moment that. His first competitive goal since breaking his leg back in July 2025. You could see how much it meant to him. Nicolas Jackson then rounded off the rout on 79 minutes. Bayern now sit on 66 points from 25 matches, 14 clear of Borussia Dortmund. Vincent Kompany's lot are running away with it. Over to Italy. Napoli got the job done at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, beating Torino 2-1 in a game they controlled from start to finish. Alisson Santos set the place alight with a cracker to open the scoring. Then Eljif Elmas killed the game off on 68 minutes, drilling a low shot into the bottom left corner after a neat layoff from Matteo Politano. Torino did pull one back late on through Cesare Casadei, 2 minutes from time, but it was never really in doubt. Conte's men stay third in Serie A. And here's a bonus for Napoli fans. Zambo Anguissa and Kevin De Bruyne both came on as subs in the second half. Having those two back fit is going to be huge going forward. Now League One, and honestly, this one's a shocker. PSG lost 1-3 at home to Monaco, at the Parc des Princes, in front of their own fans. And here's the mad thing, it's not even a surprise anymore. Monaco had already beaten PSG 1-0 in the league back in September, and they've taken the lead in all 4 of their meetings this season, Champions League included. The first goal came on 27 minutes when Zakaria nicked the ball off Zaire Emery inside his own box, Balogun squared it, and Akliouche tucked it away. Golovin made it 2 on 55 minutes, picking his spot from 18 yards. Bradley Barcola pulled one back on 71 minutes with a deflected strike, but any hopes of a comeback lasted about 2 minutes. Balogun fired past Safonov from the edge of the area on 73 minutes, and that was that. 4 league defeats this season for PSG. 4. That matches their total from the previous 2 seasons put together. Something is properly off at the Parc des Princes right now, and with Chelsea coming up in the Champions League, the pressure on Luis Enrique is only going to grow. La Liga now, and what a finish this was. Real Madrid won 2-1 at the Abanca Balaidos, but blimey, they made hard work of it. Aurelien Tchouameni gave them the lead on 11 minutes, curling one beautifully into the far corner. But Celta weren't having it. Borja Iglesias, set up by Williat Swedberg, pulled them level on 25 minutes, and from there it was anyone's game. Celta should have won it, honestly. Iago Aspas smacked the post on 87 minutes, and you thought Madrid were done. Then, deep into stoppage time, up pops Valverde. He lets fly from distance, the ball takes a massive deflection, loops over the keeper, and drops into the top corner. Lucky? Absolutely. But Madrid won't care one bit. They moved to 63 points, just 1 behind Barcelona, who still have a game in hand. Celta stay 6th on 40. The title race in Spain? Still alive and kicking. England now. Liverpool turned up at Molineux and put Wolverhampton to the sword in the FA Cup 5th round. 3-1, job done. Andy Robertson broke the deadlock on 51 minutes, his first goal since September by the way. And then, just 2 minutes later, he whipped in a cross that Salah headed home. 3 minutes, 2 goals. Wolves didn't know what hit them. Curtis Jones wrapped things up on 74 minutes with a gorgeous curling effort from outside the box. This result mattered too. Liverpool had lost at this exact ground in the Premier League just 3 days earlier, so there was a point to prove. Young Rio Ngumoha, only 17, was handed a start and looked quality. Hwang Hee-chan grabbed a late consolation for Wolves, but nobody was fooled. Liverpool march into the quarter-finals. Quick look at Saudi Arabia, because the title race there is getting tasty. Karim Benzema came back from injury and immediately reminded everyone what he's about. 2 goals, just like that, firing Al Hilal level on points with Al Nasser. Meanwhile, Al Ahly, with Riyad Mahrez pulling the strings, went top of the table after a 3-1 win over Al Ittihad. 3 teams separated by almost nothing. This is going down to the wire. Bit more context on PSG's struggles. 4 defeats already in League One this season. To put that in numbers, across the 2022-23 and 2023-24 seasons combined, PSG lost 4 league games in total. They've matched that already, and the season isn't over. Whatever's going wrong behind the scenes, it's showing on the pitch. Interesting one from Spain. Lee Kang-in is being talked about as the main man to step into Antoine Griezmann's shoes at Atletico Madrid if the Frenchman decides to leave at the end of the season. The South Korean has got the creativity, the footballing brain, and the attacking quality to do it. Whether he gets the chance depends entirely on what Griezmann does next. Touching moment at Real Madrid before the Celta Vigo game. The entire squad showed their support for Rodrigo, who's been ruled out for the rest of the season and will also miss the 2026 World Cup. The Brazilian posted on Instagram afterwards, calling his teammates his brothers and his family. Proper team spirit that. You love to see it. Still in Madrid, and the Mbappe situation is dragging on. He was supposed to fly back to the Spanish capital after further tests in Paris. Nobody knows for sure whether he'll be fit for the Champions League clash against Manchester City at the Bernabeu in midweek. Word is he's got his eyes on being fully fit for the second leg at the Etihad the following week instead. Bad news for Cristiano Ronaldo. His injury has turned out to be worse than anyone initially thought. Jorge Jesus confirmed that Ronaldo is heading to Madrid to work with his personal therapist on his recovery. The timeline? Somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks, with the aim of getting back on the pitch before the end of March. Not ideal at all. The Griezmann saga continues. Orlando City have apparently opened talks with Atletico Madrid to bring the Frenchman to MLS. But Atletico don't want to let him go, especially not after reaching the Copa del Rey final. There's also the option of a free transfer in July if his contract runs down. At the end of the day, though, it's Griezmann's call, nobody else's. Spare a thought for Pep Guardiola because Manchester City's schedule over the next 2 weeks is absolutely brutal. 5 matches, 14 days. After Newcastle in the FA Cup, they travel to the Bernabeu for the first leg against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Then it's West Ham in the league on the 15th of March, Real Madrid again 3 days later for the second leg, and then the Carabao Cup final against Arsenal on the 22nd. 5 games, 2 weeks. Good luck with that, Pep. Interesting scene before Chelsea's trip to Aston Villa. While the Villa players were already in position for kickoff, Chelsea's squad gathered in a tight circle at the center of the pitch. It was a direct response to the criticism they'd faced over team discipline after the Arsenal defeat. Manager Rosenior loved it. He saw it as proof that this group sticks together when things get tough. Dan Burn is having the time of his life. The Newcastle defender, a boyhood Magpies fan, says the run of big games this season feels like a dream come true. Newcastle are still fighting on 3 fronts, and Burn reckons this is exactly why you become a footballer. Playing in these matches, under these lights, for the club you grew up supporting. Doesn't get much better than that. Over at Old Trafford, things are a lot less cheerful. Dean Henderson came out and said it straight. Manchester United's mentality wasn't good enough against Newcastle. They lost 2-1 to a side down to 10 men. Let that sink in. Henderson admitted the defeat was fully deserved. No excuses. He's hoping the lads learn from it and don't make the same mistakes again. But right now, the mood around United is pretty grim. Tottenham now, and former Crystal Palace striker Glenn Murray, had a strong message for the Spurs board. Sacking Igor Tudor after just 3 matches would be, in his words, completely ridiculous. The priority right now has to be survival in the Premier League, not another managerial merry-go-round. Sacking someone after 3 games is basically admitting you got it wrong from the very start. Tough blow for Roma. Paulo Dybala needs arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. With his contract running out at the end of the season, the timing couldn't be worse. He's managed 3 goals and 4 assists in 22 appearances this campaign. Roma fans will be crossing everything that he comes back strong. Lautaro Martinez opened up about his biggest ambition. The Inter Milan captain says the Champions League is the one trophy that keeps him up at night. He's won plenty in his career, but lifting that famous big-eared trophy with Inter? That would be something else entirely. He says it's a dream he never even dared to have when he was younger. Good news for Atletico Madrid ahead of the Tottenham tie in the Champions League last 16. Pablo Barrios is back in training after about a month on the sidelines. Diego Simeone will have his midfield dynamo available again. Barrios had been flying before picking up his injury in the Copa del Rey quarterfinal against Real Betis. Having him back could make all the difference. Hansi Flick is loving life in Barcelona. The German coach is happy, the results have been good, and talks over a contract extension are very much on the table. But here's the catch. If Joan Laporta doesn't win the upcoming presidential elections, everything could change. Flick's future at the club isn't just about football, it's about politics too. And finally, Andrés Iniesta will not be becoming the sporting director of the Moroccan national team. Talks had been going on behind the scenes ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations final, but the whole thing fell apart earlier this week. The sticking point? Money. The two sides couldn't agree on Iniesta's salary, and that was the end of it. Right, that's your lot for today. If you enjoyed this roundup, smash that subscribe button and let me know in the comments which story caught your eye the most. I'll see you next time. Take care.